Good morning. This is Lookup Television on the 10th of October. A happy Utamaduni Day and welcome to the Morning Drift. Let me introduce the gentleman who's here officially. His name is Amwai Brian. So officially, for the foreseeable future, we shall be doing this together every single day. That is from Monday to Friday. Brian Amwai, you've been tentative on the Morning Drift. Now, officially, welcome.
Okay, how do I start? How do I start? Yes, I'm joining the Morning Drift and I'll be doing this with Simba. It's been a good ride though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've done this for a while and we loved what we've been doing.
That's it.
I think that is why I'm here today.
That's it.
Yeah.
And by the way, we are also going to introduce another face to you. That is on a Wednesday and Thursday, isn't it?
No, Tuesday, tomorrow.
Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, I don't know how this is going to be. You're going to see me every single day from Monday to Friday. Yeah. But then Amwai will be taking a tiny break on a Tuesday and Wednesday. And then he comes back on a Thursday and Friday. Apparently, I'm the K, the constant. if you remember your physics and chemistry lessons back in high school, I am the constant. So no wonder then I'm welcoming Amwai. And on Tuesday, that is tomorrow, I'll be welcoming a new face. I'm just holding it until she comes in online. Here's the thing, a lot of things happening over this weekend, and today I was just talking to Amwai. I do not know how journalists are supposed to celebrate Utamaduni Day when we're still at work. Amwai?
Now, this is the thing. I don't think that when we're signing up for this career, there's anything like holiday. I think the holiday that we don't go for holidays, do we? Because that's when we have to find stories and do that. Come back to work and file them. People at home are watching because you need entertainment on TV and information, not just entertainment. So we as journalists, this is like some extent the army. You don't do holidays. You don't.
You go in and then you only come out when it's time to come out, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the way it is. So I don't know how we're supposed to celebrate Utamaduni Day, but we're going to look at it. We're going to see exactly what you guys are talking about it. In as much as that is concerned, you've been having a long weekend since Friday. So essentially today for majority of Kenyans, it is Sunday. Today, for majority of them, but for Brian Amwai and the entire of the Morning Drift team, by the way, they're back here. Thank you very much for making time to make this happen. We do appreciate you. Without you, then we could be talking about this being a success. And Amwai, a lot of things have happened this weekend. I'll be giving you reasons why my voice is the way it is. Over this weekend, and I'm not the only one, by the way, whose voice is this coarse because of the happenings of this weekend. And I know there are a lot of bitter people around, but here's the thing, it is what it is, man. That's how it goes. I'll be showing you exactly why my voice is like this. But then Amwai, a lot to look forward to today in the newspapers as well. A lot of conversations around what Gachagua is talking about. Yeah. A lot of conversations about how the president has been a tourist just, 3 weeks in our office?
Well, people say he is the president. He's supposed to be touring and, finding out exactly who is my neighbor, how do we relate. Because you see, he just took over the other day. So if he does not acquaint himself properly with the people that surround him, they might actually, not like him. So he needs to go and do a proper intro and say, okay, I took over, now we are here. This is how you're going to be working together, try to find out exactly how good these relationships are and all that. So to some extent, that is what some people are saying who feel like his traveling can actually be justified.
Is it too soon? Because I know the conversation we're going to have this morning is the outlook of his government. We do know that a lot of names have been fronted to the PS positions and the CS positions. And we've been seeing a lot happening around those names. Is it 447?
No, it was 477 initially.
At first,
Exactly. Yeah. And they added 108 more. Whoa. Now we are talking about 585.
Hold on. That's a lot of names, isn't it?
Yeah, I tell you. And guess what? Out of those 585, we only need about 49.
What?
Yes.
So wait. So more than 500 expect that they're not going to get those positions.
Exactly.
But you know what they say, Amwai? I mean, when you're applying for a job, and when you go for an interview, you have to believe that you're the best.
Well, it
How's
is,
that? Like when you walk in Amwai, you say, I am the best candidate.
And that's why you did apply, because you feel you're qualified. So yeah, it's important to have that in mind. But to some extent, this is just off the record or something.
Yes.
This is what they say. Out of those 585, some of them, quite a good number of them, actually, people who've been in politics for quite a while, and allied to the government that is running the day today. So some people feel like maybe it might not be as smooth and transparent and as honest as it's supposed to be. It's not going to be a transparent process or something like that. They feel like some of them are going to be shortchanged and some rewarded to some extent. Just concerns, not confirmed.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I do know that Amwai is going to come back with that conversation right here on the Morning Drift from 10 to 11 a.m. Much more to look into in the conversation that he is calling the Kenya Kwanza government. Guess what? We take a tiny breather right here on the Morning Drift. Once we do come back, let's see some of those biggest headlines that you are waking up to this morning in as much as your dailies are concerned. Welcome back. You are watching the Morning Drift. My name is Kiage. I am not alone. There is a man who you're going to see every single day of the week as well. It's essentially now the Morning Drift.
Do I say my name?
Does it? Yeah, it's about time you jump in, because I don't have another sentence to add on top of that.
All right, my name is Brian Amwai, and just a reminder that you can be part of this conversation or this bulletin, this program, rather, this morning on our socials. It is at Amwai Brian, that is on Twitter, at Lookuptv. The hashtag to use this morning is The Morning Drift. Simba, what's your handle?
That is at Kiage Simba on Twitter, and just like you're saying, at Lookuptv across all of them. Guess what? We are live on it, and some of those comments and suggestions that you're making right now, we shall be going through them and presenting them to you in this broadcast. So Amwai, just before we get into the dailies, now it's about time we also make things clear. You either decide whether your name is going to be Brian Amwai or Amwai Brian. Which one we go with?
Okay, it's Brian Amwai.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it Brian Amwai?
Yeah, Brian
and that's
Amwai.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, Brian Amwai. Not Amwai Brian.
No, Amwai Brian is on Twitter. That's my handle. But my official names are Brian Amwai. It is Brian Amwai.
That's it, so Brian Amwai. As I is going to be. Anyway, let's start with the Daily Nation this morning then. So we see exactly what it is that they have sort of put center stage. And here's what they're calling it. The biggest headline this morning, it is Azimio to Ruto. Walk the talk. Amwai, let me just read the kicker here this morning so that you can actually get to see it.
Okay.
And that story, you can actually get to read it in page 6. Now, while on the campaign trail, Ruto envisioned a smooth implementation of his pledges, but taking the reins of power on September 13th ushered him into hard reality. Drought, rising food and fuel prices, mounting debt and insecurity. Now his rivals want him to quickly address these issues now they ask the question, what magic will he work? Interesting now from the Daily Nation this morning. Amwai, what do you make of that?
Well, I believe Azimio is just doing the job that it's supposed to do, and that is to make sure that the Kenya Kwanza government actually delivers on its manifesto and agenda, because that's what the president said when he said, I want a strong opposition that is going to make sure we deliver, because if you're not put in check, then we might not do our job. So I think to some extent, they are justified to start asking the president to actually, deliver on those promises that he actually made during the campaign, because we are counting days. He said in 100 days, we will have achieved this, this, and that. So to some extent, right now, it's about a month since he was sworn in. So what exactly have we done so far in regards to his promises? So those are key things, or rather issues that the opposition will be looking into, and they're just pushing him to, make sure that Kenyans get to enjoy that. And one of the things I think it's important because they rode on the economic agenda and revolutionizing the economy and things like that. So right now, and it's not at a good state. People are suffering. So what do you do about it? So it's important.
Of importance, isn't it? But another story that the Daily Nation then has decided to give center stage at the front page is Kenya's Ruth Chepngetich, all right, won the Chicago Marathon, but then she missed the world record by just 14 seconds. So congratulations are in order. If you want to read that story, then you can actually cross over to page 30. And also talking about how Benson Kipruto, all right, celebrated yesterday as he crossed the finish line to win the men's race at the Chicago Marathon. Amwai, I mean, for Kenyans, marathons are, I think, we should say that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a headline after headline after headline after headline. Yeah.
When it comes to marathon and athletics, I think this is our forte. And when we don't win, we are very sad because, and we never question our athletes if they go out there. We never have any doubt that they're not going to make it. We are always sure that this one is coming home. So kudos to them because they continue flying our flag high. I remember watching a movie some time back and there were people running, and one of them said, "Are you Kenyan or something like that? Because you're running so fast." Yeah?
I said, "Are you Kenyan? I mean, slow down." Yeah,
exactly.
Don't rush like Kenyans, isn't it? Anyway, Amwai, let me give it to you so you can take us through what the Standard is giving center stage this morning in terms of those headlines.
All right, now on the Standard, we have the headline here is Ruto's firm grip on power takes shape, and they say President appears keen to take full control of government affairs with a team of politically savvy individuals tolerating no opposition. Will he use his power wisely? Now, this is the thing, just questioning whether, the kind of moves that he's been making in the political arena ever since he was sworn in. We've seen the kind of people that he's surrounding himself with, and just, as his government tries to take shape and deliver to the people of Kenya.
Yes.
I don't know what you make of that particular title, Simba.
Is it not a bit, it's not a bit sensational, you would say? I mean, it looks like, it's politics. It's playing by the book, isn't it? Other than the few times, but I would like to seek your sentiment on that. What did you make when he made a surprise visit to Parliament?
No, are you asking me or are you asking the view?
I'm asking you.
Okay,
because if this headline then is going to make sense, we got to talk about that.
Now, this is the thing.
Yeah.
To some extent, people say, and I believe it was somehow unnecessary, and they said it was probably trying to play mind games, psychological torture to some extent. And if that is the case, then he knows exactly how to do that. He's doing it in a good way, or rather he's acing on that particular formation and chess play. I think there's a book I read that they say he's a chess master when it comes to matters politics. So if that's what he did to probably influence politicians here and there to do, rule in his favor in one way or another, or just align with the government and toe the line. And
that's how it is. You also got to look at it like that. Also with the ruling that that happened last week Thursday.
But that ruling, Simba, I don't believe it would have gone the other way.
Was that in terms of the majority and minority rule?
Yeah. As much as the argument was, this is what is on paper, but looking at how politics is played in this country, and you look at where the speaker is affiliated to, and then you can't have it any other way. You're just delaying the inevitable. I think
which sort of then tells you that this headline might not be sensational as well. The Bruto's firm grip on power is starting to take shape. Yeah. Because if you look at that majority ruling that was made by National House Speaker Moses Wetangula, it means that they have a grip on the key House committees, and that means that majority of the decisions that we'll be making as a government will receive the green light.
Totally. And that is what we were arguing before. Yes. You remember when we said, if you have a president that has a majority in the House, it's important for a president to have majority in the House, but it's also risky to some extent, because then, with the kind of politics we play in this country, Parliament just doesn't do oversight. They sleep with the executive, especially if they are with the majority. So whichever bill comes to Parliament from the executive, then it's going to pass, whether it is for the benefit of the people or not.
That's how you got to look at it, isn't it? Is there any other headline that the Standard is also making big this this morning.
All right. Now, also, we are looking at there's something here, fresh bid to change the constitution, and just looking at, let me just take you through. A petitioner has written to IBC seeking nod to collect signatures to support the changes through the popular initiative method. Now, key highlights of the petitions, I think you can just take a look at the standard and look at that. Probably, this is a conversation we've been having, Simba, in regards to whether it is time to change the constitution or 10 years is not enough, because it started with the BBI.
Yeah.
And now I think this might actually be coming back to the political arena and also the corridors of, the newsrooms to just look at whether we can actually change the constitution. Is it time to do it actually from where you sit?
No.
No.
And Amwai, you and I, you got to talk about this. I mean, time and time again, I think we need to recap it in the sense that this constitution sometimes is not just clear. In black and white terms, there's so many clauses within this constitution. I will take you back to the just concluded general election, where the courts did find that it is not even clear what the responsibilities of commissioners are supposed to be in a general election. It's not even clear whether the chairman or the chairperson for IEBC should appoint themselves or was supposed to vet them. You get it? No, change it, but go back and relook at it and then say, well, it's been 10 years in running. Fine, it looks good, it's an improvement, but then we do need to relook at it and then say, maybe we need to change this and this. Maybe we need to make this particular areas clear. I think so. Don't change it. It's been what, 10 years, eh? In fact, the other people call it new constitution. And then you want to change it.
2010, okay, it's a 2010 constitution, so about 12 years, somewhere there. Something else that is making headlines on the standard is the governors grounded by counties rot, and this is the thing. I don't know what you think about what is happening in the counties, but recently we saw the counties of governors, council of governors rather, coming out to say, okay, we are a little bit broke, we don't have money to do some functions, and we don't have the Ministry of Devolution, so we are appealing to the president to speed up when it comes to, allocation of funds. Exactly. And this is the thing. I don't know. They are grounded by counties' roads. What do you make of that?
No, I know. And this is by the way, and I gotta talk to you about this. You see, the Auditor General is already, even when this report is coming out, the Auditor General, that is Nancy, comes out and says that counties have failed, now wait for it, to collect 216 billion. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot.
And I'm like, you say, we give you this money from the national government so you can put the structures in place at the county levels, so then you could support, and by the way, there's something also called the own source revenue, where these counties are supposed to think outside the box and say, how are we going to raise our monies, isn't it? But then,
are they capable of doing that? Because this is a conversation we've been having for quite a while. If they are capable of doing that, then why are they not doing that?
That's it. It's just we have people who, the only thing they're doing, Amwai, is paying salaries. What is that? You can't run a county like that. Then why did we go into devolution? Well, the main thing that a county government does, Amwai, is, well, we got workers here now, working the devolved units. We're going to wait for money from the national government to help us pay salaries. The best example that I've seen from particular counties is, I don't want to get it wrong. There's some counties that have been floating development bonds, and you need to do that now. If you are a county CEO and in this sense a governor, you should be looking at your county and then saying, which places do I need to develop? Then float a bond, then grow your economy, grow your county, as opposed to saying, well, we are broke. You can't keep on waiting for money from the national government. It can be like that. Yes, the money is going to come, but then what is that money doing? If you can't even collect the 216 billion, it's a shame, if you ask me. And
that's the thing. Still on matters counties, I think something interesting, probably this is not part of the headline, but when we saw, county governors just taking power and coming into there, after being sworn in, some of them went ahead to start looking at ghost workers and firing them and all that. And those governors that, were replaced, by their friends and something like that, nothing was happening in those counties, so I have no idea whether that was legit, cracking down or what. Okay. Simba, I think you're moving to the next segment.
Yeah, I think we should move on to the next segment right now. Amwai, thank you very much. By the way, we'll be doing this every single day. Want to get involved to Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. Guess what? We take a tiny break right here. It's a breather, actually. Amwai, we actually never take breaks on this one. It's a breather. Yeah, it's just a breather. We come back for what is trending right about right now. We're back on it, yes, with Brian Amwai, not Amwai Brian. Gotta be very specific about that. Anyway, now let's cross over to what is trending just about right now. And by the way, you want to talk to us at Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba, Amwai.
At Amwai Brian, that is on Twitter, and yes, on Twitter at Amwai Brian at Lookuptv. I'm so used to saying at Amwai Brian at Lookuptv, so it's kind of registered in my mind that I just have to say that. So yeah.
That's it. Anyway, let's get into this. Okay. Now, but gotta ask you, Amwai Brian, since you're here, the first one that we're talking about is Utamaduni Day, and in fact, it's also called Huduma Day. So you gotta choose exactly where you want to be, because we changed it that this is a day that we are supposed to celebrate our diverse cultures within this country. I ask you, we're gonna put you on the spot, Brian Amwai, because I know the community that you come from in this country. What is this one unique thing that you celebrate in your community?
Do we?
Yeah. You gotta say it, because I will tell you mine.
No, that one is I don't know, man.
Yeah, you don't know. Anyway, let me tell you what we do.
Yeah.
I belong to the Kisi community in this country. And so if you go back, I usually say from Nairobi to that place could be around 350 kilometers, where the tradition is still going on, where the Utamaduni is still going on, yeah? So, you know, I don't want to, yeah, we can talk about this. You see how back in the days, old guys, you know, wise men used to sit around a pot of liquor, yeah? And then suck it out of the pot and then talk about politics and women and the economy and cows and goats. Yeah, I still do that.
They do?
Yeah, they still do that.
Wow.
But you have to graduate to be there.
Graduate from where exactly?
Yeah, last time I was kicked out. Yeah, it was last December. I was kicked out because the graduation, for you to be there, Amwai, you gotta have a wife.
Why did you even attempt to do that if you knew what the recommendations were, what the requirements were?
You know, it's a circle of men. So they asked me, how is your family? I said, my father is fine and my siblings are fine. No, they said, how is your family? I was kicked out. Very important. You gotta have a wife for you to be in that circle. So that's a thing for you, Amwai.
I think having a wife is nowadays, to some extent, in our communities, defines who a man is. So if you don't have a wife, then you have no idea how this thing is supposed to work. You're not a man enough. So get one, then you'll go back.
That's it. So what things are people supposed to do on Utamaduni Day?
And that's what I was wondering myself, because it is a public holiday, but I have no idea how we do celebrate it. Most of the time, I think we just sit at home and, you know, and relax because it's holiday. But do we really have anything happening on the ground
that we could go to right now and say, well, this is the Utamaduni?
Yeah, I think it should have been made in a way that probably we all go to the Bombas of Kenya, look at
or go to the streets of Nairobi.
Yeah,
By the way, I had Sakaja say that he's planning to have a Nairobi festival. I plan to attend now, and he said he's going to select a couple of streets in the CBD where we're going to celebrate Nairobi festival. I would like to think that something like that would have happened right here when we're celebrating Utamaduni Day. No. You know, today would have been when the Kisi community, the Luya community, the Luo community will be meeting somewhere, you know, just to showcase what they got.
And that would have been very important in just passing, you know, knowledge and, you know, culture to people, especially who live in the city, because some of them do not even understand what their culture entails, what people from their culture actually do, and things like that. So it would have been important if we had something like that, because for you to call it Utamaduni Day, then there is a reason as to why you're doing that, because you want the future generation to actually look at it and say, by the way, I come from this community, this is what we do, this is our way of life, this is what my people used to do, and things like that.
That's how it is, isn't it? Anyway, Amwai, I've been told that we've run out of time. We didn't have, I wanted to explain why my voice is like this. So, and I know, all the way from our control room in the gallery, the Man United fans who I was arguing with this morning about the biggest clubs in the world right now, in terms of how we're playing good football. And I told them, number one is Man City. I have to induct you into football, man. And number two, Arsenal. Yeah? And I don't care what, I'm going to mention names, what Dennis, our graphics controller, thinks. I don't care what the Simon, our guy right now putting us on air, maybe my turn us off right now. Here's the thing. The two teams, Man City and Arsenal, best teams in the world right now. I don't care about history. Don't tell me about history. What we were last year or whatever it is. That's why my voice looks like, that's why I sound like this morning, because I was celebrating yesterday.
Just a moment before we take that break, Simba, so I heard somebody say, and that it belongs to a different team, that as much as Arsenal did win, you can't tell them shit, because when was the last time you put on a jersey of,
Arsenal?
Yeah.
Arsenal? Here's the thing, it's in the house. I'll speak to a director. If a director allows us to put on t-shirts to work, I'm gonna put on mine tomorrow. So Chris, if you're listening, that's a get-go. Yeah, just allow me to come with my Arsenal jersey, and that's it. That day we'll talk about football from morning to evening. In fact, if you give me a chance, I can even go all the way and talk about football the entire time. About Arsenal, that is. Anyway, thank you very much for being part and parcel of the Morning Drift. Guess what? We take a tiny break. This is the first break that we're taking, by the way, now. Okay. And then once we come back, I'll be taking you straight to the newsroom, where I'll be telling you the biggest headlines that you're waking up to this morning. And later on, Amwai is going to come back with a bigger conversation this morning on the Kenya Kwanza government. Who are those snubs that we do expect to be CSs, and what we've seen in those bigger recommendations in terms of permanent secretaries. Once we come back right here on Lookup Television.
Yippee! Kamata plotting at 349K. Oh yes, for only 349,000 Kenyan shillings, you become a plot owner at the Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki. The Great Oasis Gardens, Nanyuki is located along the Nanyuki-Rumuruti Road, only 11 minutes from the Cedar Mall and right opposite Mount Kenya Wildlife Estate. This is the best place to establish the getaway home that you have always dreamt about. For every 349,000 that you deposit or pay as installment towards any of Optiven's plot of land, you get 10K cash back instantly. Jaza basi twende Nanyuki. Bigger is indeed better.
Hapa kazi tu inaendelea kuwasaka na kuwatambua wale ambao wanafanya kazi extraordinary na zile kazi za kujituma.
Biashara yote unaambiangwa, as long as you have a plan, you can do it. Our service is about kufurahisha the customer.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni hapa kazi tu.
Vera Beauty and Fashion College is focused on being the leading technical and vocational training institute in the region. Our team possesses in-depth knowledge and extensive experience in the industry, offering thorough training in cosmetology, hairdressing, interior design, creative arts, training of trainers, nail technology, and fashion design. With branches in Nairobi, Thika, Meru, Eldoret, and now in Mombasa, our courses ensure that learners are completely equipped with knowledge, competency, and employability skills. Enroll today to be a part of a center of excellence.
Watching the morning drifts, my name is Simba Charles Kiage. Let's cross to the newsroom this morning so we can see some of the biggest headlines that are taking center stage this morning on Utamaduni Day. Now, once again, Kenya continues to run the world after registering an outstanding performance to scoop gold in both the men and women's category at the just concluded Chicago Marathon yesterday night. The 2021 Boston Marathon champion Benson Kipruto outclassed defending champion Seifu Tura from Ethiopia to emerge the best in a record time of 2 hours and 4 minutes and 24 seconds. Ruth Chepngetich, on the other hand, missed the world record by a mere 14 seconds and retained her record over 2 hours, 14 minutes and 4 seconds. A disturbing story this morning. A man in Shipalo village in Malava constituency, Kakamega County, has reportedly killed his 31-year-old wife and mother of his 2 children after a domestic dispute by beating her and strangling her to death. Let's take a look.
A somber mood engulfed Shipalo village in Malava constituency, Kakamega County, after it emerged that a man allegedly killed his wife for stopping him from marrying a second wife. A brawl ensued. Jonathan Shikuku, who has remained to be the prime suspect in the bizarre killing, being said to have strangled the wife to her death point.
Atakingu huyu bibi mkubwa na huyu bibi mkubwa wamezaa naye watoto wawili. Sasa kiini tu ni huyo bibi mdogo ni gizani yenye imesababisha hiyo kifo.
The dispute of the two, which has been going on for a while now, has been witnessed by their neighbors, and now they have blamed the mother-in-law, claiming that she did not make an effort to solve the family's marriage dispute, and the late has been only tolerating the harsh harassment by her husband.
Wakati huo mimi nikiwa hapa, nilisikia sauti ya Faith akiwa kwa nyumba analia. Mimi sikujua mwenzangu analia machozi ya kufanya nini, ya kifo. Mimi nilidhani alikuwa analia machozi ya hasira ya maneno ambayo anasikia na kichapa ambacho alikuwa amepokea.
The village elders led by Wycliffe Mulongo have now urged couples to resolve their domestic dispute in a civil manner to prevent such incidents.
Ambia wanandoa, kama kuna shida kwa nyumba, tuko na nyumba 10, tuko na Hassan Chief, officers ziko huru.
The body of the late is now being reserved at Webuya mortuary, while the suspect is being detained in the Malava police station, waiting to be arraigned in court as investigations continue. Susan Jerry, Lookuptv.
Quite a sad story, that is. A somber mood engulfed Juluk village in Turkana County during the funeral of Mary Kanyaman. Mary was a peace ambassador who was brutally murdered alongside 8 police officers in Kamunge, Turkana County by armed bandits. Various political leaders in attendance urged the government to take action against cattle raiders in the region. Ian Kaitani files the following report.
Kanyaman, who was a peace ambassador between warring communities in Turkana, West Pokot, Baringo, Samburu and Elgeyo Marakwet counties, met her brutal death last month on her way to West Pokot from Turkana County on a peacekeeping mission and was killed alongside police officers who were pursuing armed bandits in Kamuge, Turkana County. Political leaders who attended the burial ceremony, led by Turkana Governor James Lomurukai, his Samburu counterpart Lati Lelelit, and Turkana County Women Representative Cecilia Asinyan, eulogized Kanyaman as a warrior who championed for peace in the region despite the difficulties she encountered while castigating the brutal murder of Kanyaman. The leaders decried the frequent killings in the region, among the pastoralist communities calling on President William Ruto to take the cattle riders and armed bandits head-on.
We are very bitter about the death of this lady. This was a peacemaker, a very serious peacemaker. She was committed in ensuring Kapedo wamepata amani. Lakini mwisi fulani ambaye anapata kura kwa sababu ya kudanganya watu ndio anazidi kusukuma the same thing. Na ndio amepeleka hiyo kitu hata North Pokot mahali tuliweka amani for almost 7 good years.
Mary alikuwa mtu tunampenda na alikuwa mtu shujaa. Kwa kweli si uongo hapa watu wanasema Mary alikuwa shujaa. Mary was a shujaa. Huko nje na hata hapo kwa ofisi. Mara mingi ukijaribu kusema ile kitu Mary hataki, atakwambia tu hata kama ni gavana wacha upusi lati. Na mimi nilikuwa nimependa hiyo kwa sababu she was a very courageous woman.
Penye ilianzia kwa biased disarmament. Kuna disarmament serikali ilianza. Sisi Waturkana ni watu tunaogopa serikali. Tulipeana bunduki zetu zote. Na ukitaka kujua ukweli, chunguza hizi raids zenye imefanyika hivi karibuni. Hakuna raid ya Mturkana kwenda huko. Lakini ni Pokot tu hapa pale. Kwani Pokot hawakurudisha bunduki zao?
Huyo mwanasiasa akamatwe na achunguzwe. Kwa sababu yeye ndiye amekuwa chanzo ya maafa katika kaunti ya Turkana, katika kaunti ya Laikipia, katika kaunti ya Samburu. Hakuna vile mwanasiasa atatumia damu ya watu kurudi kwa mamlaka.
Until her death, Mary Kenyaman was the chief executive member for health in Samburu County, and she's left behind a widower and 2 children. Ian Keitani, Lookuptv.
Kilifi County government, in a conjunction with several partners, have started a relief food distribution exercise for families affected by the ongoing drought and famine in the county. Speaking during the event in Kilifi, leaders led by Governor Gideon Mungaru have asked the national government to support the affected families with more relief food. Shadrack Kareria now reports.
Cues of hope in Ganze constituency in Kilifi County as locals line up to receive relief food from the county government and other partners, with the only food items to cut the biting hunger to the affected families in Dandosa area, where meager maize flour, soaps and lamps that families here claim won't go a long way.
I'm happy to be here in Kilifi County this morning to support the community in Ganze through the efforts of our Lions clubs in Mombasa, in particular Lions Club of Mombasa Pwani, who have partnered together with other organizations.
Even in our own little way, we are doing what is right, and we hope that many people are going to come on board to ensure that this hunger problem stops.
Speaking at the event, Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaru and his deputy Flora Chibule thanked the team as they called on the national government to come to their aid by giving them more relief food.
Swala kuu ni kwamba hata tunapofanya hii ni short term goal. Long term goal kama serikali ya Kilifi, serikali ya Gideon Maitha Mungaro ni kwamba tuna mikakati ya kufanya kuweka haya mabwawa ya maji. Tuna hizi ponds ambazo kwa wakati huu hii mitara kwa wakati huu imekauka, lakini tuna dams 3 na tuna boreholes ambazo tumechimba.
Jumatatu nitakuwa na mkutano na wafanyakazi tume yote ya kaunti ya Kilifi pamoja na county commissioner na MDC, tupange mambo ya janga la njaa ambalo limekumba watu wetu wa Kilifi. Na kuanzia Jumatatu mkutano mwingine utaendeshwa na deputy governor, mimi nitaenda mwingine Nairobi. Kuanzia wiki ijayo mwisho kila sehemu ya Kilifi ambayo imekumbwa na baa la njaa itakuwa na chakula kwa watu wetu, ili watu wasife na njaa. Tunakubaliana?
The leaders, however, lamented that the relief food issued by President William Ruto is yet to reach the county, stating that charitable organizations have since been helping them with relief food instead of the national government.
Janga la njaa limeingia sasa katika Kenya nzima. Naibu wa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, yeye alianzisha huo mradi ya kwamba Kenya nzima kule ambako kuna njaa, baa la njaa limeshika, vyakula viweze kupelekwa. lakini hivi sasa kile chakula ambacho kimetolewa na serikali ya kati bado hakijafika ndani ya Kilifi County.
Leaders further assured the residents that the county government is doing all it can to mitigate the anger in the county. Shadrack Kareria, Lookuptv.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has assured public officers that William Ruto's government will continue improving their working conditions as a way of bettering service delivery. Rigathi has assured Uasin Gishu residents that the national government will work towards fulfilling their promises, especially improving the agricultural sector. Rigathi said this during a Thanksgiving service in Uasin Gishu County.
Speaking during a Thanksgiving service at the AIC Church in President William Ruto's backyard, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has assured farmers from Uasin Gishu County that the government will continue to subsidize the price of fertilizer as a way of improving agricultural output.
Tujaribu kutoa 3,500, ifike hapo 2,500, hapo tutaweka bidii. Ni kweli umesema mambo ya NCPB, mambo ya mbolea tutafanya vile nimefanya mambo ya njaa. Hakuna kazi sasa tutakuwa tukiwachia mtu mmoja. Tutaweka kamati ya kugawa mbolea. NCPB wako pale, gavana wako pale, county commissioner wako pale, wafadhili wako pale, inakuwa ni open and transparent, kila mtu anaona.
Rigathi also emphasized that the national government has put in place plans of ensuring the county residents are officially recognized as rightful landowners as a way of reducing the recent land disputes being reported across the country. National Assembly Speaker Moses Wetangula has also noted that for the first time, tribal politics experienced before are a thing of the past, while assuring Kenyans that development will be felt throughout the nation without discrimination based on political factions.
Ukipata udongo imetumiwa vibaya, imekuwa changarawe, lazima mwake maji polepole, ongeze mbolea, mwake maji tena, ongeze mbolea, ndio upande mimea imee. So sasa serikali ya Kenya Kwanza imeanza kumwaka maji, kuweka mbolea, ndio wapande mimea, tubadilishe nchi yetu. But I know, without any fear of contradiction, serikali ya William Samoei Ruto, Rigathi Gachagua na sisi zote, we are going to turn around this country.
On his side, Kipchumba Murkomen has continued advocating for the measures Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is putting in place to ensure that the traditional insecurity issues among the pastoral community is ended.
We want to make sure that the Kerio Valley turns from valley of death to a valley of life. And under your firm leadership, I believe that this Kerio Valley will be the potential of the future.
Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro has expressed confidence that the economy will be revived under the leadership of President Ruto, especially in the agricultural sector.
I see a Kenya where these farmers from Uasin Gishu, which is a basket of Kenya, mutakuwa na pesa kwa mfuko, na tusaanza kuona hiyo kazi kwa vile tumeona bei ya fertilizer inashuka, itaendelea kushuka. Once we incentivize the input of our farmers, we incentivize the input within our economy.
Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Mahali Muhammad has assured residents that his office will fully eradicate insecurity issues, especially in Kerio Valley. Gen Keitani, Lookuptv.
Ian Keitani with that story. Now, the National Police Service Commission names 10 candidates who have been shortlisted to replace the former DCI boss George Kinoti. The 10 candidates out of the 253 applicants are set to be vetted Tuesday, that is tomorrow, 11th October, at the Kenya School of Government. Masa Hamith Salim currently serves as the DCI boss, as appointed by the National Police Service following the resignation of George Kinoti that was made public by the President on September 27th.
Kenya's 12th DCI boss continues. The National Police Service Commission has since received and shortlisted 10 candidates to replace outgoing DCI boss George Kinoti. Among the candidates who are set to undergo vetting on Tuesday 11th October are top bosses within the police service.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais. Sasa nakuomba uweze kuketi kwa heshima yako.
The candidates who serve in different police units are Mohamed Amin, Head of Internal Affairs, Michael Wiso, National Police Service Legal Director, Bernard Lumoli, Coastal Region DCI Boss, Eliud Lagat, DCI Head of Reforms, Principal Inspector General Assistant Munganyale, and Homa Bay County Police Commander Esther Chirioni. Also, Director of Reforms at Police Headquarters David Birach, DCI Director of Planning Nicholas Kamwende, Coastal Regional Police Commander Paul Ndambuki, and Head of DCI Railways Wanderi Mwangi are set to stay at the helm of the investigative agency. Among the 243 candidates who didn't make it to the list are the now DCI Hamisi Massa, police spokesperson Bruno Shioso, and Charles Owino. After a 4-year term, George Kinoti resigned from the top seat where the president made it public on 25th September during the CS appointment announcement. Members of public are invited by NPSC to submit any credible information relating to the shortlisted candidates ahead of vetting. Mudeundalana, Lookuptv.
Now, in today's segment of Your Opinion Matters, we ask you what your expectations are of the person that will replace the former DCI George Kinoti after the National Police shortlisted 10 candidates for the position. Let's take a look.
Vacancy to succeed the outgoing DCI boss George Kinoti was available, a job that saw 10 out of 253 individuals shortlisted. This is the question on Your Opinion Matters. Will they meet the pace that had been set by Kinoti?
Na Kinoti ameset pace, kuna mahali ameachia ambapo amefanya kazi mzuri, kama si mambo ya politics na kila kitu, kazi imekuwa mzuri.
Kama wananchi, kila kitu iko sawa.
Huwezi linganisha na hapo mbele. Hapo mbele security ilikuwa mbaya sana.
Tunawapea hiyo opportunity, then we see what they can do. From that we can judge whether they're going to bring something more than what Kinoti has done. But na believe Kinoti amefanya a lot, which hata sijui mbona alitolewa kwa kiti.
Mwenye atachaguliwa atapeleka Kenya juu hata kuliko mali Kinoti alikuwa ameachia. Na uchunguzi utaendelea mzuri, ukora ipunguzwe na vijana tupate kazi mzuri na tukue na security mzuri.
Mimi ningependa Arundi afanyie wananchi kazi, sababu ile kazi amekuwa akifanya hiyo miaka yote ni kazi nzuri sana. Na kwangu mimi nampongeza.
Mwenye atachaguliwa hatuwezi jua watu wanajua wanaendanga na promise mingi. Lakini mtu akishafika pale ndio sasa unaona utendakazi wake. Lakini huwezi mjaji kama hajachaguliwa ama
kama ni kesi ilikuwa inakuwa investigated, evidence inakuwa tampered with na kila kitu. I think that's the problem. But ukipata mtu mwenye anaweza work above all those challenges, then atakuwa mzuri.
Basi unapata mse mwingine anafanya makosa tungine kadogo hivi ndani manze. So
most of them wako tu hapo for the sake of kuwa hapo because of cash. But Kinoti has done something that hakuwa anaangalia ni nani ama ni source ama ni nini. Yeye bora you're on the wrong. DCI walikuwa at least wanafanya kazi for the first time ever tangu tukue nao hapa Kenya. Otherwise tuwape tu hiyo chance tuone.
Kwa sababu huwezi jua mwenye atakuja pia kazi yake itakuwa aje.
Mimi hapo siwezi sema kitu sababu bado hawajatufanyia maendeleo tujue ni aje watatufanyia kama ni vizuri ama ni vibaya, lakini mimi ningependelea Kinoti aendelee kufanya kazi.
Watumikie wa Kenya mzuri ili tuweze kuishi kwa amani.
Siwachague tu mtu anayeona amefikisha qualifications zake ziko sawa na integrity pia waangalie.
Well, those are some of the feedbacks that Kenyans had to offer. On Tuesday, 11th of October this year, the interview will kickstart. Thereafter, the names will be forwarded to President William Ruto, who will make his choice out of the 3 shortlisted candidates. Moses Sukech, Lookuptv.
Selection interviews to fill the advertised positions of principal secretaries in the public service will be held from Wednesday next week for 10 days. The Public Service Commission has so far shortlisted 585 applicants for the positions in different ministries. But look at the number of shortlisted candidates and how many rejects in the 2022 polls have been attracted to the positions.
It is a distillation that has seen the number drop from 9,154 to 585 shortlisted for the position of Principal Secretary. A number that includes politicians who lost in the August general elections, top technocrats and national security operatives, among others. All of them looking forward to filling up the 50 slots in the government of President William Ruto. The interviews will kick off on October 12th and will go on for 10 days until October 22nd. Those who will make it to the final list will have their names forwarded to the president for appointment. According to the Public Service Commission, the commission will conduct selection interviews at its head office in Nairobi and therefore forward the list of successful candidates to His Excellency the President for consideration for appointment as principal secretaries in accordance with the law. At first, the list had 477 applicants, and a day later, the Public Service Commission added 108 names to the list of principal secretaries candidates, pushing the total number of shortlisted applicants to 585. The PSC says the reason for adding more names to the list is to deepen regional and gender inclusivity. The PSC said in a notice, the Commission has reviewed the number of shortlisted candidates in order to deepen inclusivity with regard to gender, the marginalized and minority groups, the youth and persons living with disabilities in accordance with Article 232(1) of the Constitution. The addition of extra applicants has opened a can of worms as rejects in the 2022 polls seek to get favor in the eyes of the man they campaigned for. Among the 108 additions are former nominated Senator Isaac Mwaura and former nominated MP David Ole Sankok, former Ambassador to Pakistan Professor Julius Bitok, former Samburu Governor Moses Lenol Kulal, former Nairobi Deputy Governor Jonathan Mweke, as well as former Kisii Deputy Governor Joash Maangi. The list also included former Lang'ata MP Nixon Korir and members of President William Ruto's Economic Advisory Council such as Alfred Ombudo Kombudo and Dr. Irene Asianga. Some 20 principal secretaries appointed in former President Uhuru Kenyatta's tenure were also shortlisted. President Ruto's allies who lost in the August 9th general election, such as former Kiminini MP Chris Wamalwa, former Narok Governor Samuel Ole Tunai, former Wajir West Member of Parliament Ahmed Kolosh, and former Isiolo Women Representative Rehema Jaldesa will also be interviewed for the position. Other close associates include Kori Sing'oei, who served as Ruto's legal advisor when he was the deputy president, and Professor Edward Kisiang'ani, a member of his communication team. Other candidates who made it to the list include Health CAS Masi Mwangangi, Interior CAS Winnie Gushu, IBC Commissioner Molu Boya, and IBC Corporate Communication Manager Tabitha Mutemi. According to the latest data from the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, a PS is entitled to a monthly salary of 765,188 Kenya shillings. The Kenya Kwanza administration will have 50 principal secretaries who will each head a state department in the 22 ministries, with 6 ministries which include mining, trade, the Ministry of Education, Lands, the Ministry of Roads, and the Ministry of Interior, each expected to have 3 principal secretaries. The Ministry of Defense will have only 1 principal secretary. Members of the public have also been invited to give credible information of interest on any of the 585 shortlisted candidates on or before Tuesday, October 11th. Brian Amwai, Lookuptv, Nairobi.
Just want to correct one detail in that story. The interviews start this week, not next week, this week, 12th. So if you have been applying, it means that you'll get those positions. Anyway, just before we take a short break, because that story then is exactly what Amwai is going to talk about in the big conversation this morning. Because if you look at those names, especially under the cabinet secretaries and the permanent secretaries, we've known permanent secretaries are those positions that are set aside for technocrats. But then if you look at majority of those big names in there, biggest losers from the 2022 polls, sort of looking at it and asking yourself the question, well, are they redeeming themselves in this government through those positions? Looking forward to that conversation as well. But just one thing that I want to talk to you about as we celebrate Huduma Day and everything that entails it. Today is a day that you have to remember or celebrate our diverse differences, our beautiful cultures, and everything that it is to be Kenyan. So you gotta look for one thing. Yes, you have 42 tribes in the country, in fact 43 tribes in the country. So you gotta look for that special thing that then you will celebrate about your neighbor. That's the take home. Anyway, so you see how Kenyans find different ways to talk about, it's a language as well, because we gotta talk about that as well. So when you're on Twitter and you see a trend called Wemze, it is a subtle way of Kenyans telling you Man, stop embarrassing us. Yes, you want to talk about it, but not here. So I'm urging you not to be told Wemze today. Go look at it and then find a way of not being part of that. Anyway, we take a short break right here on The Morning Drifts. Amwai Brian, or is it Brian Amwai, will be coming shortly with a conversation on the Kenya Kwanza government, conversations on the CS positions that have already been nominated, and the applicants to the permanent secretary positions, interviews beginning 12th. I'll be back from 11 to 12 on this Utamaduni Day, but we should be talking about that conversation, GMO, and business in general. At Lookuptv across all your social media platforms. I am at Kiage Simba.
Hi there, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. My name is Maki Wambogo, Sales Manager, Lookuptv Real Estate, and I'm here at our head office